We asked our son Jude, if you could have any cake in the world, what would it be? And he just said to us straight away, he said, Fanta cake. And the funny thing is, he doesn't even drink Fanta. Hi, I'm Stephen.
And I'm Joanne. And this is our son Jackson.
And we're the owners of the Compassionate Kitchen. We are honored to be a part of the VeganEasy video series.
We've got a premix here of dry ingredients. There is 340 grams of the self-raising flour, 40 grams of plain flour, a teaspoon of salt, and 1¼ teaspoons of bicarb.
We also have 138 mils of any vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence, and 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. 50 grams of peeled bananas. It's got to be the peeled banana weight. There's 310 mils of orange juice, 370 grams of just plain white sugar. We use bananas as an egg substitute. It's a really great binder in cakes.
Please pick unripe bananas. Even if they're slightly green, that's absolutely perfect because you don't want any banana flavor coming through to your cake.
Jackson, what are we doing with the colors?
You need 1 teaspoon of red food colouring and 1 tablespoon of yellow food colouring.
Then just ½ a teaspoon of the orange flavor.
Orange juice and banana mix. We're going to mix that with the oil and the sugar. Add color mix that Jackson did before. Yep. Tablespoon of vanilla. Once that's mixed through, then we're going to add the dry mix into that. Once there's no lumps through the cake mix, then it's ready for us to pour into the cake molds. It's a beautiful orange color that banana has now activated with the bicarb and the vinegar. So we bake them individually into individual cake tins, and that way you get a more even bake, less baking time. Vegetable oil spray. So just a quick spray around the sides like that, and we pop that in there. You just use your standard baking paper from home, and you can use your cake tin as a stencil, cut around it. It's 430 grams of cake batter into each one of these. Bake those 160 degrees for 25 minutes.
These are a few we prepared earlier. We're going to level them out just by cutting the tops off a little bit so we can get nice even layers as we are decorating the cake.
Now we need to make a buttercream to decorate those cakes with. The ingredients for that is going to be 335 grams of vegan butter. It's important to work with this vegan butter at room temperature. 510 grams of icing sugar that needs to be sifted. Add 50 mils of Fanta to really bring out that Fanta flavor. We need to add 1/4 teaspoon of lemonade flavor, a teaspoon of yellow food coloring, 1/4 teaspoon of red color, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of orange flavor. Icing sugar is ready to be mixed in with vegan butter. We're going to let that mix a little bit, take it off the mixer and really scrape right down the bottom because we don't want any lumps of icing sugar at all in there.
I'm going to scrape that down again to make sure it's all mixed thoroughly. And you'll know when it's ready by the color changes from a really deep dark color, it gets lighter in tone. So we're looking for a really nice light fluffy texture. Okay, now to get started on the decorating, you're going to need a cake board. If you have a turntable, that would be helpful. If you didn't have a turntable, what you could do instead, small bowl, pop that on top. Just gotta be extra careful though. Once the buttercream gets on there and the cake layers, it gets a bit heavier, you don't want it to tip off. So you've gotta work with it really quite slowly. You're gonna need a spatula, a scraper, a piping bag. We use biodegradable piping bags and a nozzle as well. Pop the nozzle in first. Cut the bag at approximately there. Pull the nozzle back a bit and take a snip. You don't want to go too high, the nozzle can slip right through. Get your hand in. This is a way to fill it with the least amount of mess. Kind of just grabbing it with my hands to get it all pushed to the bottom. I'm going to give the piping bag a little squeeze to get the air bubbles out. A nice twist at the top, so as you are applying pressure, squeezing out the buttercream, it's not going to raise up. Okay, so here are our cake layers that we baked earlier. Peel back the papers. Try and get it on the cake board as even as possible. Pipe your whole buttercream over the cake. One, you get nice even layers in between every single layer. We're going to get a nice thickness all over. We're just going to spread that slightly and kind of overlap, go over the sides Okay, just checking that my layers are on nice and straight, and you can just press it down. Our last layer, I place upside down. We get that lovely straight edge, nice sharp corners. So it's really important to cover the whole area with the buttercream, smoothing out your buttercream. We're not going to get any crumbs come up to the surface now. Piping along the sides of the cake. Don't want to get any of those crumbs coming up to the top. Also filling into the gaps as well. Smoothing out the sides with my long spatula to start with and pressing the buttercream into all those holes. Pop a bit more buttercream on there. We want a nice thick layer so that we've got a lot to scrape back later and smooth out. Use a scraper. I like to use a metal one because it's a sharper finish, cuts through those holes and gets a nice even coverage. With a nice flat spatula here, I'm just going to slightly press in. I use my scraper to scrape off that excess buttercream. Some nice sharp edges here. This is a little trick that I've taught myself. Removing the excess buttercream on my board. This will keep the edge nice and straight. I can wipe away the remaining with a cloth. Now Jackson will be demonstrating piping on the cake for us.
I'm finding a pattern while I'm squeezing, so once I find the pattern, I stop.
And you're squeezing the bottom of the bag, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that comes out, you want them to touch the one before.
So once I've completed the circle, I like to work right through to the center, so I get a nice point right into the center there.
And then you just fill in the rest.
Wow,
Well
that looks amazing.
done.
Well done, Jackson.
Yeah, well done. Sprinkles, different colors, some oranges, some white, different shapes, stars,
Jimmy's.
some confetti ones. And
This looks beautiful as it is, but if you'd like to jazz it up a little more, you can put some sprinkles along the bottom of the cake. To place this inside of a larger bowl, you will drop a lot of sprinkles and it will just collect it so you don't have a big mess. Put the sprinkles in your hand like a cup and just pressing up against the side of the cake. Brush away the excess sprinkles. I do like to use a silicone brush, then you don't lose any bristles into your cake. And there we have it, a beautiful Fanta vegan cake. We hope you've enjoyed our vegan Fanta fun cake.
And for everybody participating in the VeganEasy challenge, we wish you all the best. Thank you so much for watching our video. We hope you have lots of fun making this cake and sharing it with all your friends and family.
Would you like to do the taste testing for us?